catch. Some of the best materials, such as blackberry vines, had thorns, and the basket weavers often paid the price of scratched and cut hands as they worked to remove the thorns so they could weave the vines into something useful and beautiful. This brings us to our first gift that God gave us at the cross. Over 2,000 years ago, in a grimy stone cell in Jerusalem, a Roman soldier took some branches and wove what he assumed would be a gift of shame and mockery, a crown of thorns. Little did he know he was actually creating one of the greatest gifts of all, custom made just for us. Have you ever wondered why God gives so much? We could exist on less. He could have left the world flat and gray. We wouldn't have known the difference. But instead, he splashed orange in the sunrise and blue in the sky. He made the birds sing. He gave the flowers their fragrance. He gave food its taste. God's gifts shed light on his good and generous heart. But his greatest gift of all, his greatest act of love for us, was in sending Jesus into our world. Just think for a moment how amazing this gift was and what God had to give up to make it happen. In that instant, when Jesus was born, God swapped eternity for calendars. We may search out the moment the first wave slapped on a shore or the first star burst in the sky, but we'll never find the first moment when God was God. The Bible tells us that God is beyond our understanding. The number of his years is past finding out. There was no moment when God was not God, for he is eternal. But when Jesus came, this all changed. For the first time, he heard a phrase never used in heaven. Your time is up. As a child, he had to leave the temple because his time was up. As a man, he had to leave Nazareth because his time was up. As the Savior, he had to die because his time was up. For 33 years, the stallion of heaven lived in the corral of time. And what about the fact that Jesus lived in a body? One moment he was a boundless spirit, equally present in Peking and Peoria, as active in Texas as Timbuktu. The next moment, he was flesh and bones, imprisoned in a human body, restricted by weary, prone muscles and eyelids. His once limitless reach was limited to the stretch of an arm. His speed checked to the pace of human feet. I wonder if he was ever tempted to reclaim his boundlessness. In the middle of a long trip, did he ever consider transporting himself to the next village? When rain chilled his bones, was he tempted to change the weather? When the heat parched his lips, did he give thought to popping over to the Caribbean for some refreshment? If he ever entertained such thoughts, he never gave in to them. Not once did Christ use his supernatural powers for personal comfort. Remarkable. But was Jesus' humanity the most remarkable part of God's gift in sending him into this world? Many would argue not. Many would point beyond the surrender of timelessness and boundlessness to the surrender of sinlessness. In the Bible, an object that symbolizes the consequences of sin in humanity's heart is a thorn bush. Back in Eden, when the shadow fell across the garden, the Lord said, I will put a curse on the ground, and the ground will produce thorns and weeds for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. God echoed the truth of these words when he urged the Israelites to purge the land of the godless Canaanites. He told Moses, if you don't force those people out of the land, they will bring you trouble. They will be like sharp hooks in your eyes and thorns in your sides. The Canaanites proved to be just that. The Bible tells us rebellion results in thorns. Proverbs 22:5 states, evil people's lives are like paths covered with thorns and traps. Jesus even compared the lives of evil people to a thorn bush. In speaking of false prophets, he said, you will know these people by what they do. Grapes don't come from